So the controversy has moved from the secular music space to the church. Gospel musician Patience Nyarko is leading the trends following her comment that colleague Joe Mettle will find himself wanting if the Church of Pentecost and the Methodist Church bar musicians from singing their songs. Well, some say the comment was born out of hatred and frustration, while others posit she has been misunderstood. On this episode of Bloggers Forum, we table this for discussion alongside virtual concerts. How far have we gone as an industry? Remember, there is still the ban on public gathering as a result of the coronavirus outbreak. My name is Benefo Boabin Abrantipa. Welcome to Bloggers Forum on Ghana Web TV. On this episode of Bloggers Forum, the king of bloggers. I don't know why the bloggers are not fighting over that title. And the king of bloggers.
No, I can't even say king of bloggers.
So
it's just a matter of time.
What's it anyway? So Kobiche writes for kobichenews.com. First time on the show. Kobi, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Nice. And another Samuel Bedu, he writes for entertainmentgh.com. He is also a columnist or trauma graphic showbiz on the radar, right? On the radar. Although to radar, no so I say.
Happy one.
Arnold, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Nice. Mumbi Presby Methodist Pentecost.
Pentecost, yes.
Pentecost. Yes. What's your favorite hymn?
You are putting me on the spot. Today I'm queen.
Sir.
I'm a proud Pentecostal.
I see.
Yeah.
So it used to be the female rappers. Now it has changed. Are the three female rappers, Eno, Sister, Fia, Frida, are they losing that, or the gravity of Patience Nyarko's issue has taken over? To Arnold, let me start from you.
First of all, I think it's been interesting. It's been an interesting process for all of us, especially us, the newsmakers, the reporters, because over the period we had news to report on or Kobiche. Exactly. I felt the sister Fia, Baroni, and Frida Rhymes beef was going on fine until Sister Fia decided to mess it up. Let's also establish the fact that news come and go. Every time one news would come and talk over another news. We'll speak and chatter over one news and then we'll move on to the next. I mean, it's always difficult to actually have one news item prolonged for a long time. We always move on. So I'm not too surprised that we have a Patience Nyarko and a Joe Mettle saga taking over from the three ladies. It's normal. And after a while, we also have some news items taking over Patience Nyarko and Joe Mettle. Just a matter of time and space.
I see. So for those who may not know the background to the Patience Nyarko Joe Mettle issue, there was a program on Onya FM, Enijimre with Christian and J. Frimpong, and they were treating how to elevate the gospel music industry. So on the show, they placed a call to DJ Alodia of Alodia Promotions, who is an event organizer in the United Kingdom. And so they were looking at why he has not been organizing shows with gospel musicians, and he said he has done that for 2 or 3 times and he couldn't even break even, so he just decided to do so for the secular, and that whenever he organizes a show, he records low patronage. It is because the people there are not so much familiar with the songs. Language barrier is one of the factors. The local language is too much, and the artist who has an audience appeal, who can actually perform and pull the crowd up there, has been Joe Mettle, or is Joe Mettle. And Patience Nyarko said no. She finds that comment as very disrespectful because Joe Mettle, he doesn't write his own songs, and so if you are placing him above people who write their own songs, it's quite unfortunate. And so she believes that where Joe Mettle, the pedestal that Alodia and some other people are pushing him, it's not the best. This is let's watch her reaction and then we'll be back to comment on the issue.
Me bisa say Joe Mettle no mo pagya na besi ye kwan so no ni nyum eyesen ne brofo nyum na eyesen is it not Pentecost nyankwa fa nyum no auto Joe Mettle baby mo pese mo pagya ne koduro ondu hoye.
Do you have issue with him?
Money problem. I don't have issue with him. He's my brother. But baby I'm pushing no obehwe wo say timasamato wo dey ma obi my gospel Christian your friend is saying Pentecost for nga say mamuntu ya nyum biom ye gospel for akombede wo mokromu ha right. You respect these people more than ye try ye nyum
okay. So that's what ensued in the studios of Onia FM last Saturday. Let me come to Kobe. Did Patience Nyarko misunderstand the arguments or the comments from the resource persons were derogatory?
All right, thank you. When I was in my junior high school level, my English teacher told me that if you think education is expensive, try it not. And so communication, I think that Patience Nyarko lacked a bit of education. And he rightly said that she made mention of the fact that Joe Mettle don't even write his own songs, which sounds ridiculous. Because you have ghostwriters, we have people who are just there. It is this part of our world or Ghana that we don't really value music arrangers, people who compose music for other people, songwriters and all that. But there are people out there, their job there basically is to just write songs and sell it to people to just sing. You understand? So if Alodia is saying that the only person that globally people can accept his music because of the English factor is Joe Mettle, I don't think that there should be any cause for alarm. To the extent of Patience Nyarko saying that Joe Mettle could be an enjoyment man. It means that, or no, as an artist, she lacks education. You understand? If so, you know, say in the music business, somebody can write for someone. You have people who are basically they are working as songwriters. They don't do anything. And I mean, let's not even go far. Akwabua was one time a songwriter for people, for Becca and all that. And so let's look at the level of Efia. Akwabua wrote Best to Me for Akwabua. I stand to be corrected. But if that for Efia, right? Yes, and if that song was able to go platinum or to even win awards for Efia Nocturna, are we going to discredit the fact that Efia has taken that song to a different level? No, you understand? And again, communication. I think that Patience Nyarko and most of our artists, I keep saying anytime I have the opportunity to sit on any platform, I say that it's not just about going to the studio to record songs. The music business is wide, and so you need to learn how to even communicate on platforms. You understand? This is how good in the So for you to make that comment, somebody who really understands music or understands the music business will say that what you said, you are just goofing. You understand? So Patience Nyarko should sit back again and learn how to communicate when, she's been given any opportunity to speak on matters like that. You understand? For me, I think that she goofed, and we are looking for that she'll come to apologize. I don't know whether she's come to apologize though.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes. We'll come back to that. But Arnold.
Yes, boss.
You think she goofed?
I have an issue with some of the things Kobe said. But then let me just go into my submission first before I tackle what he talked about. With regards to Patience not having enough education in the business. With regards to she goofy, yes and no. No, because most often than not we classify gospel artists as personalities that sit on a certain pedestal with regards to the fact that they are doing gospel music. We fail to realize that basic point is they are human beings, and so they have feelings and they have emotions, and so they are susceptible to get angry, get excited, and have all the emotions that every ordinary human being has. That fact sometimes we forget. And so for Patience Nyarko to go through that outburst, that was her human nature actually manifesting. That's how come I say no. She didn't goof. She goofed in the regard of how hard she went at Joe Mettle. Because mind you, two personalities were interviewed. One, a radio presenter, Obi Nati, who works for Vision FM, who talked about the fact that Joe Mettle has been able to elevate his brand to a certain level. And so when you want to talk about any gospel artist, the person who readily comes to mind is Joe Mettle. And then Alodia too was called. And then he spoke by virtue of he being a promoter. And like he said, he also talked about the fact that the one who has the international appeal presently is Joe Mettle. Now, they spoke in a way that made it look as if Joe is the go-to artist presently. What patients fail to realize is that these two individuals express their opinion on what they've seen or realized over the period. However, because over the period, a certain patient, Nyarko, has always been playing second fiddle to a certain Joe Mettle, she felt some kind of way. That's regardless of all the effort that I'm putting into the business, regardless of all the souls that I'm winning with my gospel songs, you guys still peg this Joe Mettle ahead of me. And let nobody sideline the 2018 VGMA, spectacle where almost everybody expected her to win the gospel song of the year with Obinyaneme, and Joe Mettle beat her with Bononi.
Yeah.
So that plays on her mind. And so for her to sit there and have two respected individuals within the business, one from the gospel fraternity, one from the event promotion business, actually placed Joe Mettle ahead of her. She felt, I've had enough. And so let me just vent. It's the venting that I have an issue with. But then if you also realize that she's a human being, I mean, how many artists have not gone out there and vented or ranted over certain related issues? The way she went about it is where I had an issue. If she had accepted the fact that these two guys, as individuals, they hold their own respective opinions, and so they are allowed to express them. If she had really understood that point, then probably she had gone like, well, I do respect their opinion, but I do not agree. Instead of really going hard at Joe Mettle. Now let me come to Kobe's point about the fact that she says probably there's a lack of education on the part of patients. That is slightly wrong. And I said that because of this. Almost every artist and industry player recognizes the role of songwriters. We all know. However, there's a certain misconception or there's a certain myth that if you're an artist and you're unable to write your own songs, that's a flaw. And that is why if you go out there, a certain Drake is not well respected because of the tag that he doesn't write his own songs. So if you remember, when there was a beef between Drake and Pusha T, he used it against him, that the fact that he has ghostwriters. So we do understand the fact that songwriters are in existence, they help, but then there's a certain connotation that if you're an artist, you should have the wherewithal or the knack to also write your own songs. You understand?
Yeah.
So it goes beyond she knowing that songwriters do exist. She's very much aware. However, there's this misconception and something within the industry where an artist, if you are unable to write your own songs, they look at you in a certain eye. So that's what, for me, I thought that's what it is. You understand? So I don't think she really doesn't know some rudiments or some intricacies when it comes to the industry. She knows.
What makes Joe Mettle's brand a formidable one compared to Patience Nyarko?
I hope what I'm going to say, I'll not get into trouble, but I mean, I don't really care. When Joe Mettle won, because I have had issues a couple of years ago, but I'm sure you remember, I've had issues with the followers of Joe Mettle some time ago. In 2017, when he won the VGMA Artist of the Year, I was one of the few people who did not really agree to that win. Because at the time, I felt, based on the category definitions and the mechanisms of the VGMA process, he did not deserve to win. Because mind you, when you pick the category definition for Artist of the Year, the artist must have been, is judged by the board, academy, and the public as an artist, blah, 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 blah. He must have released a hit song. Now, in that year's nominations, none of Joe Mettle's songs made it to any of the categories. The song that really got into the nomination was Omaweni. That was Record of the Year. And Record of the Year, the songs that I enlisted in Record of the Year Those are not hit songs. Those are songs that are not well recognized, but then they have quality. You understand? They have quality song. So clearly, based on those, definitions and mechanisms for vision, I felt no, he did not really fit. But after that, I think Joe has been able to elevate his brand beautifully, and there's no dispute about it. His ability to come back with another hit song and another hit album, his ability to really peg himself to get that audience appeal, get that international appeal. I feel he's done well for himself within the last couple of years. Some years ago, it used to be Sonny Badu, who really had almost everything, every quality, every characteristic of who a gospel artist or who even an artist should be like. Good songs, good production, audience appeal, international appeal, virtually everything. But Joe has been able to take over that mantle where he stands atop and says he has everything, virtually everything. And so for me, I think kudos to him and his handlers for the ability to actually project him, to make him look so good. You understand? And the fact that he's been able to put in a lot of effort in projecting himself and the gospel fraternity as a whole.
But as it stands, does it look like he's the only marketable artist, gospel musician?
Not at all. I mean, there's a Dana Hamilton, there's a Joe Mettle, there's an Obapa Christie, there's fast rising gospel musician Emoji. You understand? There's the like of Eugene Zuta. There's like a separate poem. You understand? I mean, there's a lot of gospel artists who individually have been doing so well to be able to get into our eyes, to be able to get into our minds for anybody else who follows gospel music and the music industry, and they want to say these are the gospel artists who've been doing well over the period. I do not subscribe to the notion that Joe is the only appealing or alluring artist in the last couple of years. No.
Kobe, what?
Let me add something.
You want to? Okay.
Exactly. And I'll take from 2 or 3 dimensions.
Okay.
One, the reason why Joe Mettle will come on top of your mind, and the reason why he's leading, or people will mention his name in regards to, having international appeal is one, brand positioning. Look at Joe Mettle. Why would someone just, so we are looking for entertainment pundit, and I'm not being just on top of your mind, his name will come. We're looking for the best rapper in Ghana. Then all of a sudden, a certain circle will come. We're looking for the best dancer. So he's been able to brand himself, position it very well to the extent that it has taken into the ordinary Ghanaian. It's a gospel and he never first. And that is one thing that most of our gospel artists are failing to do. Brand positioning. What do you stand for? Now, social media. And I find it very difficult to understand why most of our social gospel artists are not really have not taken advantage of social media. Now, Joe Mettle is everywhere. YouTube. Now, if Joe Mettle should drop a song right now, you notice that audio mark, it's everywhere. He's taking the thing very serious, and so teamwork, and so everything investment that, and I've had a discussion with one of his team members, and the teamwork, the people behind Joe, they are very strong, from publicists, from video directors, so
and he has his own studio too.
Exactly.
You think Patience Nyarko is lacking all these?
Most.
Let's
be frank to ourselves.
You understand?
He's right.
So if we all want to be part of the conversation, let's invest in our craft. Let's do the need for. And again, I noticed something here, that collaborations. It's one thing that I find very disturbing with most gospel artists. Collaborations. They don't do that. You understand? So I think that you say if you can't beat them, just join them. Learn. If it must be done, it must be done well. Just learn. If people are saying that Joe is doing this, just sit back and relax and say, okay, so what is Joe doing right? What can I also do with my team?
Then what he's talking about is true, but see, it's quite dicey, especially for the gospel guys. There's a thin line between going all out to actually act like you're in the show business and being a gospel artist. Because over the period, the conversation has always been that, are they doing it for Christ or they're actually doing it for the money?
Okay.
So for somebody like Joe, the balance has been very perfect.
Exactly.
Where he actually finds himself in a certain show business space, where it's not all about the show, but it's always also about the business. That's where Kobe's inclination comes through. The fact that he's investing in a studio He's investing in his digital space. So he recognizes the fact that there's a business element to what I'm doing. However, there are also some gospel artists who are not audacious enough to come out and say, listen, this is business. And so it's not all about, oh, man, talk economic, we need souls. No. So you see where the balance is. One artist is saying, listen, I think I found a perfect balance where I can recognize that there's a business element in what I'm doing, and also there's a soul winning purpose to what I'm doing. And then there's the other group who feel like, well, if I go too business minded, people will criticize me. So let me just stay on the safer side where I just release the song, do one. No. So that's the difference between the Joe Mettle brand and the other brand. Right.
So let's take a break here. When we return, we will look at Patience Nyarko's posture after in the midst of the brouhaha. She's still defending her posture in the studio, her comments. And there's also been an incident where she has walked off an interview. She says she felt she was being attacked and disrespected. Welcome back from the break. It's still Bloggers Forum here on Ghana Web TV. We are discussing the controversy between Christ. Is it the right word? Well, we are discussing the Patience Nyarko statement on Joe Mettle, and before the break, I told you we'll be looking at her posture in the midst of the brouhaha. Well, she's been granting a lot of interviews, and she appears to be defending her point. She says the statement that Joe Mettle is the most marketable brand in Ghana as far as gospel music is concerned is wrong. Let me start with you, Kobe, on this note. I'm sure you've monitored the interviews. There is one that has actually gained prominence, the one with Joy News, where she walked out because she was asked to tell whether Bononi was a Pentecostal hymn or that of Methodist, and she says she was provoked. The way the interview was handled and her response, what do you make of it?
So what do you make of it as an observer?
Yeah, as an observer, what do you make of it?
So earlier on, my boss Arnold said that
She's human.
she's human.
Yeah.
So, yes. Now, I've also worked with Diana Hamlet, and both of them, I can't compare, but from Diana Hamlet and some of her statements, you notice that even though gospel musicians are human, you should first of all also know that your background is from Christianity. And what you are doing is highly spiritual. And so you are sending message. You are like a gatekeeper for God in the world. You understand? And so you are winning souls for Christ. And in as much as that, we have our own temperament. And I said, communication, you should always be guided on platforms that you mount. Be it secular musician or gospel, but you in question, we are talking about a gospel musician. We don't want to push them and say that, oh, they are humans, they are fine, they are humans. But you should be extra careful because you are representing Christ. Aside the showbiz, you understand? You should know that you should portray certain things that at least someone will just even listen to your interview and even give his or her life to Christ.
But
aside even your music.
In the Bible, Christ bids some money changes. Or shiwomu. Or brimomo pa.
No,
you are saying followers of Christ, so you should be doing.
So you see what I'm saying is that we should be guided. I'm not sure. That is my advice to her. She should be guided and not because since you've brought the whole thing up, anytime you move on any platform, they will ask you. And this is a hot cake news. This is a hot cake content, and every presenter will push you to answer questions in regards to Joe Mettle. And so I don't think that you should be so angry and just walk away. Communication. People go on radio and they ask them certain terrible questions, but they find a space. And it's not all artists who can do that. But let's all learn how, if you move into an interview, you could just say, I'm not ready to even answer that question. And that will save you from a lot of things. Because you represent brands, people are watching you. So let's be guided. Now you go for an interview, you go for an interview, they ask you and you just walk off. No. That will go a long way to affect you in a certain way, or people will picture you in a certain level. So let's see how we guide ourselves in. I mean, when we are in the midst of such situations.
I know.
Okay, so 2 questions in one, right?
Yeah.
First of all, you asked what his current disposition.
Yeah.
The fact that she says she will not apologize. And then her reaction to the Joy News interview.
Yeah.
Okay. So I reckon 2 reasons why she still is maintaining her stance and her unwillingness to apologize to Joe Mettle. 1, you know, Patience Nyarko is going on a media run. There's almost like a media tour. She's the hottest cake now. Almost every radio, TV presenter wants to talk to Joe, Patience Nyarko.
Yeah.
Every producer of an entertainment talk show wants to engage Patience Nyarko. If Patience should apologize now, that kills whatever media run she's going through. We will not need her again. You understand? Because what news is there to derive from you again? Once you apologize, that's it. But the moment she continues maintaining that stance, everybody would want to figure out why. Why you not apologizing? Why you know you get it? So it's a strategy. Where I said that's how I see it. 2, I think she's getting support low key from some elements within the gospel fraternity. Because the only reason why somebody like a Patience would be emboldened to maintain that stance is when she has support. And so low key, there are a lot of gospel personalities who support what she's saying. The fact that Joe Mettle is not the only marketable brand, Joe Mettle is not the only most relevant gospel artist now. They are supporting her. And so she is well emboldened to actually still move on with what she's doing. So these are the 2 reasons. Now, on the Joy News interview, my brother Kobiche has spoken. See, he's all about brand, but sometimes scrap all that crap. Like he told him, even Jesus Christ, he talks about the fact that Jesus, you are the presenter of Jesus, or you represent Jesus and all that stuff. But then Jesus himself went to whip people's ass in the temple. Why? Because he felt they were disrespecting the temple and whatever it represented. Like?
True.
Exactly. So if a representative of Christ also feels disrespected and feels mocked, he has every right to whoop the person's ass. It's as simple as that. And I'm surprised that Kobe didn't touch on how the interviewer, organized herself. For me, in as much as an artist, you have the control as to how you answer questions or not. My little experience in this business has told me, or has given me the opportunity to see a lot of high-profile artists walk off interviews. Once you enter into that space and you feel disrespected, I've seen plenty. You walk off. And so it came to me as no surprise. Why? Because the question the presenter asked them was a dumb question. You need to speak the fact and move. Because the lady is in a situation. Why would you want to go there and tell her, let's sing Joe Mettle song, sing Bononi? Are you crazy? Let's be blunt and speak the fact and move.
He asked him to sing Bononi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the tone of the presenter was even wrong. I mean, Becky is my friend, but I mean, when Miss G asked Wendy, I told her in the face that you asked a dumb question. So I don't see why I should be different from Becky. Because even the tone, the approach, and the question she asked Patience Nyarko were all dumb questions. The tone was wrong, the approach was wrong, the question in itself was also dumb. That's first of all, you need to recognize the situation the lady is in. Initially, she felt it was, then she realized that no, the presenter has an agenda. That's wrong. As a presenter, we always must be neutral. It's different when you are giving your opinion on a certain subject. It's different when you are writing an opinionated feature. But when you are doing you are actually interviewing, you should be neutral. And I felt the way the presenter went about it was totally wrong. And walking off, she could have comported herself in a different way. But I still do not have a problem. Probably if she had stayed, it would have been worse. So the best way of course, Joseph, still in the Bible. When Joseph saw the temptation, what did he do? He ran. So probably Patience felt, well, what is coming, if I should give a response, it might be worse. So let's just walk on. So we should know the balance. For me, I felt the presenter, Becky, did not do well. and I do not really have a big issue with Patience working. I've seen plenty. Yes, she could have comported herself quite differently. I do not have a problem. It also works.
Let me still stay with you on the issue. Joe Mettle has been silent, a loud silence, if I should say. Do you expect him to pass a comment or just keep his distance?
Joe Mettle is enjoying an unsolicited hype. He was sitting in somewhere. Somebody went to mention him. He's all over the place now. The reason why Joe Mettle is not speaking is he did not bring about this matter. He was sitting somewhere and somebody mentioned him. Right? What do we expect him to come and say? Because now anytime you mention a Princess Nyarko in a conversation, a Joe Mettle must come in. If you're on a radio show, and I've observed, I don't know if Kobe has also observed, since this issue came up, every time there will be a discussion, when you play a Patience Nyarko song, you would have to play a Joe Mettle song. So Patience is making Joe Mettle more popular. And so if you're a business-minded person like Joe Mettle or his handler, why would you even want to twat the process? You sit and enjoy what is going on. Because Joe did not say anything even to start with. So what do we expect him to say? So for me, I think he's thinking, well, the same way it came, the same way to dwindle. You can understand. And besides, why would I want to? Somebody said, oh, what is he going to do with the hype? That's hogwash. Every entertainer needs hype. There's no show business without hype. So people invest to actually get hype. So if he's not doing anything, and the hype is coming just like that, why would I want to kill it?
You think he should release a song in this time?
Oh, why not? Why not? I mean, if he's a businessman like we all think he is, just put in a single. It will fly like something.
Kobe, what should Joe Mettle do?
Okay, so I've known Joe from a distance. He's not the type who also come and just also follow up with some interviews. You'll be a car and fan will cry, you will cry. Beef maybe and farm will cry, come before so I'm baby shame be no but Joe is not really known for that. But like my brother said, I not said no. You just enjoy it.
Okay, right. So let's take a break. When we return, we are going to look at the virtual concerts which have been held in the country. The ban on public gathering has made it impossible for concerts to be organized in auditorium filled with audience or patrons, and so we are now doing virtual concerts. How far have we gone as an industry? How have we fared since its organization? When we return, we'll tackle this. Welcome back to Bloggers Forum on Ghana Web TV. We do our final discussion, and it's all about the virtual concert. So Adam started with his concert. Shatawale came through with Faith concert. The Three Music Awards, the third edition, it also was held virtually, and yes, so there was also a virtual concert to launch the app, the coronavirus tracker. So I'm sure you watched it and you did your own assessment. Well, the BET experience, it has been cancelled, and but the main event, that one too, we go do virtual. They say people who have bought tickets, be ready for a refund. Let me start with Kobe on this one. You've witnessed quite a number of the virtual concerts that we have held. Are you impressed?
Yes, I'm impressed.
How impressed are you?
Okay, so this is it. There are times where we have the vision going on at the conference center. We have people there, and also people watching at home. And so, for me, sometimes someone, a typical person who sometimes we just stay home and watch, wasn't really a bother to me because I was so enjoying it anyway. just that I wasn't feeling that energy, that crowd. I mean, you really see like Shatawale win an award, you see the SM movements are just cheering up and all that. So that took that I mean, the beauty side of it, that's away. But for me, it wasn't anything bad. It wasn't anything. But I treated something that I was just wishing that they could just add some effects, if it was some clap effect or something. Because I mean, the bonus league is started and they have some effects that is really good. They're going to apply to it. That if someone say like say keeper score, and you have some noise, something at the back, to make you feel that even though you are watching from home, you are even a part of it. So I was expecting say comedy effects, be so if it is clapping or some shouts, some effect, because it's here you are come to the clap here to make you a part of it. So that was what I was expecting. But I mean, all said and done, I think production was okay. Production was okay. It was okay. I love it. It was okay.
Arnold, your assessment.
Well, no events. I checked, and then I realized that data says most of the revenue that were generated from our business came from concert tours. And so there's no two ways about the fact that that department of our business has been very hard hit. But the thing is, there's no other alternative. Because we all know that events, music concerts, tours and all that stuff are audience based. You need an audience actually to play to. And so that is the only element that is missing. When you take that away, virtually everything is still in place. Stage, camera people, decor, and all that stuff, they are all in place. The only core element that is not in place when it comes to this virtual concert is the presence of that audience. That's the only thing that's been taken away. So yes, it is a very key element, and so it takes away some effect, some energy. Now, over the period, I think those guys who have done virtual concert or are trying to do, we should pat them at the back. They've done well. Starting with them, like you said, Shatawale raised the bar high. You know, City FM or City TV also did it, and recently the last one to do it is Chatterhouse. For me, I think they've done well because as a new terrain. I mean, we, like I said, we've all not been used to this this way of going about event organization and all that stuff. And so for them to actually gather the guts to say, listen, the core product of events is not there, but we'll still go ahead and do it in anyway. I think we need to shout them out and say, hey, they've really done well. There have been challenges. So for example, the 3 Music Awards, there were a few challenges because it was live. If you watch the introduction of the app, that was something else. I mean, it was substandard. I mean, we all have talked about it. The City FM one was top notch. You know, 3 Music, somewhere went well, except the internet connectivity. One of the challenges that we face with this virtual concerts is the internet connectivity. Because when you are doing live, and especially when you're also relying on your digital platforms to actually screen these ones, definitely. Because one of the challenges that we always faced, or we've talked about, was the fact that, it's breaking. You're not getting the feed is not fluid and all that stuff. So that's a major challenge with those guys who are trying to do virtual concerts and trying to beam it live. Now, if you watch the Chatterhouse one, arguably that's the best virtual concert that we've seen in the last couple of months. However, like I did post on my Facebook page, it was easy. Because mind you, if all these guys who did virtual concert and they did it live were to do a pre-recording, have the luxury of time and edit, add all these elements, and mind you, if you watch the Chatterhouse one, the COVID Heroes concert, it was perfectly done. I did not see any flaw. So where they would have to insert the bit from Dana Hamilton from UK, it was perfectly done. And you talk about the clapping effect. They actually added the clapping effect. You understand? Where they had to get the message from the doctors and all that stuff it was perfectly done. Why? Because they had the time to actually sit back and say, listen, the sound is not too good, let's tune it and make it look good. the lighting is too, you understand? So that's why I said I was a little bit disappointed because it was not live and because it came from a charter house. Because over the period they've shown the way on how to do live events with regards to the VGM and all other related events. And so when it came to virtual, I was expecting them to also show us the way in doing a live virtual concert and give us all these effects. You understand? But a lot of people did not get it. They were like, oh, but this is no. It was nice, but you had time. Because I bet you, if the 3 Music Awards had done a pre-recorded event, it would have been one of the best awards scheme done virtual. Because that way, you could insert clapping, you could insert acceptance speeches. But when it's live, Master, it is spot on. How do you give us live and give us the feed from UK? Give us feed, wireless feed from Upper East. You understand? So in as much as it looked good on TV, for me I thought it was below par when you consider the Charterhouse standard. And so I will not say they were the best. City TV was, I mean, their virtual concert was the best. Because there were virtually no flaws, although it did not look good as Charterhouse, Heroes concert. But the City TV one was top notch. Live, it was well executed.
Do you foresee a virtual VGMS with the Heroes concert? You foresee that, Arnold?
It's possible. It's possible. And I know a lot of them would hate this comparison. But you see, when 3 Music Awards decided to do or go ahead with the awards, one of the things I said in my head was, once they do it, it might inspire or motivate other events or awards, companies to also follow same. However, I would just be conjecturing, because I was expecting them to do live for this Heroes concert. It could also be their way of testing the system to see if let's say we are doing VGMA, how can we go about it? It could be their way, because mind you, this Heroes concert was not in the plan. I'm sure they said, listen, what can we also do to support the system? What can we also do to support COVID? Because seriously, if you are looking at the VGM in their timetable, what we expected to do was to have a nominees jam. So if you want to do anything virtual, you start with a nominees jam, and then you come to the main concert. So this one, for me, in as much as it's laudable, I figure that is the way of they themselves testing. If we say we are doing the VGMA's main concert, how do we go about it? And so it is highly possible that they may. It could be next month, it could be in September, it could be any other month. But I envisage that it is possible that we might have VGMA concert. I do not know whether we want to do it live or they would want to pre-record it. Regardless, I think it's possible we might have it.
Okay, Kobe, let me get your final words on the show, and then we call it a wrap.
So thanks for having me. thanks for having me. Like Arnold said again, 3 Music Awards have been around for how many years? 3 years. So for them to put up that stand live virtual concert for us to enjoy, would be nice. And I think that if Charterhouse don't give us live virtual concerts, we'll go hard at it. I mean, they have the equipment, they have the technical know-how, they have all the ideas to really give us some. Already, I've been giving us some live events over the years. Live events.
And the argument was, when I did a post, we're like, we have nothing to prove. No, we have something to prove in this virtual space.
3 Music push them
going live in a virtual concert. Exactly. That's what you need to prove.
Exactly.
Yes, when it comes to other live, of course, even when they were doing the VGM, we always had issues, 1 or 2 issues. So you do have something to prove to us that you can actually execute a live virtual concert. That's it.
Okay. Is that your final word on the show?
My final word is the patience. Nyarko, Joe Mettle. I think the followers of Joe Mettle should slow down a little because some of the things they said did not really depict Christ-like. I'm sure Joe sometimes would even watch some of the commentary and will cringe and like, so these are my people. You understand? So they should just slow down. It's a passing moment. I mean, Patience did not insult Joe Mettle. He only discredited him in regards to his relevance and his songwriting skill. It's as simple as that. He did not really go personal or you know. So for some fans of Joe Mettle to actually go at her, raise her marital issues, and for me, I think we should tone down in regards to how we comment on stuff like that.
Okay, right. So that's how we draw down the curtain for this episode of Bloggers Forum. I've been on the show with Kobe Che. Kobe Che writes for kobechenews.com. Obede Pombede ne kampuna Ofri Ebai, and then Arnold Asamoah Bedu. Arnold writes for entertainmentgh.com. We discussed Patience Nyarko's issue, her comment on Joe Mettle, and then virtual concerts in Ghana, which has become necessary as a result of the ban on public gathering, which was instituted because of the outbreak of coronavirus. If you monitor the press conference, the officials are telling us that it has come to stay. Coronavirus has come to stay. We should accept the fact that we are going to live with it for some time now, and so we should be doing some things, living our normal lives, but we are not in normal times. So yes, we can practice social distancing and not social isolation. We can be holding events virtually, so virtual concerts. If you want to party, be in your room, just party, have fun. At the end of the day, we make sure that we are safe, and we still have some level of excitement and then happiness. Well, keep safe. My name is Benefo Abrantipa. Thanks for watching, and thanks to the crew.